Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I'm David Weischadle, and as always, I'm joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weischadle. Doug, it's March. I'm studying up on my college basketball, mainly because it's taking my mind off of baseball. I am so upset that baseball is canceled. Well, not all of baseball is canceled, but the first week of baseball is canceled.
I like how they phrased or at least the commissioner phrased it, the first two series, when that actually means 91 games. Mm-hmm. Two series sounds a hell of a lot smaller than 91 games if you think about it. And that was a smart way to put it in his press conference. It's going to be a mess. They actually haven't said whether or not they're going to have when the next set of negotiations, if any, are going to happen.
Well, look, I mean, I'm going to make a production decision. I'm not going to talk about baseball because you pick my one and only time, because you know what? I don't want to give them the time of day because, look, you want to act like this, good. All the pundits are weighing in. They're talking about it. But you know what? I'm concentrating on college basketball because March Madness is coming up. So I got other things to worry about and think about.
You want a silver lining to it all?
No. No.
I'm
just saying this because I'm upset.
It gives these sports books more time to learn how to do the micro betting. Micro market betting. Okay,
well, there's a silver lining for
That's
you.
the only silver lining to this.
Great.
I know, that this is going to be a mess and it's going to be a while. So we'll just see what happens.
I mean, look, good luck getting back fans. I mean, they screwed up in 1994 and, they lost fans and it took a while for them to get back. And so this one might last a little longer. And again, I'm talking about baseball.
Yes.
I said I wasn't going to, and now we are.
It's a topic that even though you don't want to talk about it, you talk about it.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, we got a great show coming up. We got a By the Numbers segment. We got a Beat in the House. We got a book report. And for my interview segment, I'm talking with Greg Warren from USBets.com, Sports Handle, and Better Collective. We're going to talk about the exciting world of Canadian sports betting. Amazing things are happening north of the border, and Greg's going to fill us in on a lot of them. So, great show coming up. Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
Well, we always talk about how sportsbooks are looking for a new way to acquire customers.
Okay. Yeah.
I have to admit, Betway came up with a way that is probably the most unique way to attract new customers.
I got to tell you, Betway is one of those. We talked about them before. They're one of those, like the symbols, their logo I see everywhere. I think the first time I saw them was last year watching an Islanders hockey game. And from then on, I'm constantly seeing them.
Well, you will be hearing them from now on.
I'm going to be hearing them now.
They have now created a sonic brand for the Betway Sportsbook.
So they have their own sound now. Is that what is that what you're getting at?
It's an audio branding type of deal that they've worked out with a company called DLMDD, London-based sonic branding agency.
All right.
I didn't even know there was such a thing until now.
When you're talking about sound, there's a store in our area. What is it called? It's an electronics store.
PC Richards.
Yeah, PC Richards. You hear that with Jets games, right? You hear that.
That's an example of a sonic brand.
Is that a sonic
brand?
Is that a sonic brand? Okay,
that's a sonic
All
brand.
Right. Was that PC Richards?
PC Richards.
Okay.
PC Richard and Son.
Do you notice I did the do because I can't whistle.
Well, you did the branding.
I did the branding.
Branding works.
There, look at that. I just gave a commercial for him.
This is going to be a 3 seconds of sound type branding, and it's already out.
Oh, really?
overseas, and they have done a study on it from this group, this market research firm SoundOut, and the Sonic logo that they have created, that's what they're calling it, a Sonic logo.
Well, I just gave you an example of one.
Has demonstrated strong brand effectiveness.
Yep.
Personality, a 92% recall rate. Brand appeal, 74%. And perception of brand value of 77%. According to SoundOut, those are all high marks for actual, I guess, Sonic brands.
Well, I just gave an example of one for PC Richards. So, anyone in New Jersey or New York, when they hear that sound, they know it's PC Richards, even though I forgot the name of it when I first brought it up. But no, they know PC Richards just from that sound. And, when you go to a Jets game, do they do that sound when they
still do those,
score a touchdown? Because
not when they score a touchdown.
If that's the case, they got some problems. They might choose another.
No one's going to hear it.
They might choose another event there.
Yes, but,
that sound, it's recognizable here.
Well, the one thing I have been trying to figure out is whether or not the Sonic brand is going to be able to be registered as a trademark, because that's the next step. I mean, we've had the brand names.
Well, you're a trademark attorney. You're a trademark attorney.
Yeah.
What do you think? Can you do it?
Well, like I was saying, you got the brand name you can trademark. You got the logo for the company that you can trademark. Some companies have even trademarked their color.
Okay.
And I actually took a look at these because I thought it was interesting that color can be trademarked. Examples: Owens Corning Pink, the Pink Panther.
Sure.
UPS Brown is trademarked.
Really?
That's called Pullman Brown.
I did not know. Pullman Brown, that's the official color that they have?
That's
Pullman
the designation
Brown.
of that color in the trademark office.
Okay.
You have Tiffany Blue for the jewelers.
Okay.
That's labeled as 1837 Blue.
All right.
Barbie Pink. T-Mobile Magenta is trademarked.
Okay, that's everywhere. I mean,
3M Canary Yellow.
Okay, I got it.
Target Red.
All right.
But only with the logo.
Yeah, I don't think they can trademark that color. It seems kind of a common red.
These last two I did not know. John Deere Green and Yellow is trademarked, that combination.
Okay.
And Cadbury Purple, the candy company?
The Cadbury egg?
Yeah. Well, they do other.
It's getting close to Easter. So I'm starting to see that commercial with the egg where you break it open and it looks like a yolk in there.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's marshmallow or what. I've never had one.
It's something.
But no, it's the same commercial I've seen since I was 10 years old.
They
never
need to change it. There's no need to change that commercial. But Cadbury Purple. It's actually in where the logo is for Cadbury.
Okay.
The purple behind it.
All right.
And also the purple in the egg. There's the little section of purple color.
Okay.
That's their trademark color. It's called Pantone 2685C in the trademark office.
Well, when the commercial comes back on, I'll take a look for the purple?
Yes.
Okay, the purple. I'll look for the purple.
Well, like I said, this is a very unique way of acquiring customers, and leave it to Betway to come up with that one.
I think it's great. I hope they get. I haven't heard it yet. So, was it in Europe now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out. So, sound works. I mean,
sound always works.
PC Richards proved that. So.
Exit 2.
We always talk about esports in terms of, betting on this show, really.
Yeah.
But a lot of the esports industry wants to have more kids involved while they're in school. Scholastic esports.
Well, I know colleges are really going to town with esports.
Well, they're
talking about something earlier.
High schools? This is high schools too.
Oh, okay, high schools now.
As a matter of fact, we had a story a couple of months ago of the Japanese high school.
Okay.
Just for esports. Well, this group, Publisher 2K, who they do all the football, the basketball games. They're not the Madden guys. They're not EA, but this is 2K. These are their competitors.
Okay.
The publisher has teamed up with a group called Play VS.
All right.
Play Versus.
Okay.
To bring the NBA 2K franchise to high school varsity esports leagues in both the United States and Canada.
So instead of playing actual physical basketball, you're going to have these esport teams playing basketball.
Yes.
Okay, I know.
It's a long-term deal.
So I think that's okay. I could never play actual basketball. So maybe if I was in high school now and I was interested in this, it's a way to get a varsity letter, right? If you're playing on a high school
It
team,
depends on how they have the eSport League set up.
they better have a varsity letter.
Well, schools interested in starting up their own esports programs are more than welcome to talk to Play VS. They go to their website, and they could actually get more information on how to start up their own league. But the different schools, starting in the spring, will be able to face off in online matches in NBA 2K through
cool.
this deal.
Good.
And according to Play VS, and this is their statements, bringing NBA 2K into the fold will enable more players to get involved in scholastic esports, which will help improve attendance, grades, and graduation rates. I mean, that's kind of a leap.
Well, I'm very curious because I know colleges are giving scholarships for esports. I wonder if colleges will be recruiting like in these high school varsity NBA 2K leagues. I mean, is that a way to get a scholarship to college? It'd be interesting to see
That's the reason
that.
for the esports leagues.
Good. I hope so.
They did a little tweaking to the NBA 2K game, though,
Okay.
for the esports leagues in the high schools. You can't pick an all-time team or historic team. It's only current NBA teams.
Oh, okay.
I think that may be a factor of the kids not knowing in some cases.
Well, it's a good way for them to learn about historic basketball players.
They will not be able to do that. They're only going to be able to do a current NBA team. I'm trying to figure out another reason. Maybe it has something to do with the NBA 2K not having a license for the Players Association
I don't know.
or the Alumni Association. It's a one-on-one league where it's basically 5-minute quarters, one-on-one. A player controls each team, and it's during the regular season. This is how they have it set up. This is what you would have to enroll into. Regular season, they're best of 3 formats.
Okay.
5-minute games, so 15 minutes, and then in the playoffs and finals, it's best of 5.
Okay.
So they're hoping maybe this will encourage more kids to get involved in esports. We just had last week, Ari Fox, Casino Esport. And the casinos are always looking at the millennials. Now the esport industry is looking at the younger generation. I guess Generation Z.
I don't know
whatever it is.
But it's interesting. I mean, in a couple of weeks, we're going down to the Hard Rock Casino in Atlantic City for Landell, which is the first state-sanctioned peer-to-peer betting esport event. So, it's going to be it's really growing, and it's great that it's starting out in high school.
And once you add yourself into the NBA 2K League, you actually have the ability to go into the other games that Play VS offers. They have deals with Nintendo, Riot Games, Activision Blizzard, EA, Psyonix. You got games like Super Smash Brothers, Ultimate, League of Legends, Overwatch, Hearthstone, Madden NFL 22.
I don't know what it is.
And Rocket League.
Is it Hearthstone? Hearthstone. I can see it right here.
But yeah, they got a whole list of games there. Not too many are one-on-one. They're team, most of them. So there's team building exercises for that stuff too. So, it's going to be kind of interesting to see if their claim of getting more and more people involved in scholastic esports in a high school level does translate into more attendance, graduation, all that stuff.
Good.
Exit 3.
Well, if you've ever wanted to be screwed by a porn star,
Okay.
we have a story about that.
It's an interesting way to start. All right.
Porn star and influencer Lana Rhoades started
never heard of
her own NFT project.
Wasn't everyone starting their own NFT project? I'm talking with the World Poker Tour in a couple of weeks. I'm interviewing the president, and they have an NFT program.
They have an NFT poker club.
Do they? An
Yes.
NFT poker club?
Yes,
Okay.
you have to buy the NFT to participate.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well,
See, I didn't know that. See, you're helping me prepare for my interview.
Miss
Good,
Rhoades,
thank you.
Miss Rhoades,
Ms. Rhoades.
she started up this project. She has a 1.5 million followers on Twitter, and that's where she announced it.
Okay.
And the NFTs were cartoonish designs of her, all various cartoonish designs.
They're cartoons. Okay. They're
Well,
not
they're
actual
drawings.
pictures.
They're
They're drawings.
drawings.
Okay. All right.
She probably would have made a hell of a lot more money if she'd offered the pictures. But these were like a cartoonish version of her, like a caricature kind of thing.
Okay.
And she was selling them. And right off the bat, she made $1.5 million.
Wow. Okay.
In a week.
In a week.
In a
All
week.
right.
But what happened was, at the end of that first week, she disappeared. She took the $1.5 million, cashed it out, and disappeared from the social media landscape. Her last tweet was something along the lines of, people here on Twitter and the digital landscape are too rude, I'm leaving. And so she took her $1.5 million and just disappeared. And what people found out was there's no value to these NFTs. This was one of the first NFT scams of this nature.
Really? So have they found, what's her name? Lana Rhodes?
They have not found her.
They have not found her. Well, at press time, they have not found her yet, right?
Right, at press time.
All right.
But she
you
actually...
have to say that. Who knows? They could find her in an hour. So.
Yeah, she actually went the whole 9 yards. She did the... Here, let me get my notes here. She created a NFT marketplace claiming the project was created with a goal to increase value for the NFT holders, making it a lucrative investment.
Okay.
She also promised the holders to sell for these NFTs will sell for more than what they paid to mint these NFTs. So when you buy them, they'll sell for more value.
Okay,
which is what NFT people want to hear.
They're an investment for people.
She called it an NFT franchise, and then explained that the value and the brand itself will continuously grow. She even developed a roadmap of how the benefits of owning these NFTs will increase as the value increases. They'll have more access.
Well, let me ask you something. Because of this story, because of the whole situation, do the NFTs that these people received now have value? I mean, they're in the... I'm very curious about what these things look like, because of the story. Have they gained value?
According to all experts that have reported on this, they are valueless.
Okay.
Although,
but aren't you curious about what they are and what you're looking at and what they have on them? Because now, see, if you build curiosity, you build value, don't you?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I'm curious. I'm not going to buy one, but I'm curious about what they have on them.
Well, there was one individual who will always remember this, because he went ahead and got a tattoo of the NFT.
So, but is he happy with the tattoo?
I would have. If he was a fan of Lana Rhodes to begin with, he should be happy with the tattoo.
Let me tell you something. People who get tattoos love the stories that are attached to those tattoos. And wow, he's got a great story.
He was a sucker?
The first NFT. No, he's not going to say it that way. He's going to say the first NFT fan. Whatever they call what were they called?
A porn NFT.
What were they called anyway?
Just called him an NFT.
They just called him an NFT.
Yeah,
so he's got a story behind it.
The scam is being called the CryptoSys scam because that's technically the name of it.
Okay,
CryptoSys.
Okay, yes. He's got a story behind it. The whole CryptoSys story, and it's the first scam in NFT history. And guess what? I got a tattoo of it.
This will remind him never to buy another NFT.
You can spin it. You can give these things value.
Yeah, you'll never buy another NFT with this stuff.
If people are interested in it now because of the story, they have value. Maybe.
All right, if you want to look at it that way.
You can attach value to anything. You just got to spin the story right.
Any port in a storm is what you're saying.
I guess so.
Exit 4.
Last but not least, we talked last week in our Turnpike Sports book report about Amazon Web Services doing a deal with the Montreal hockey, basketball, college football teams.
Yeah, they did a bunch of deals in Canada.
Well, Amazon Web Service is not done. They have done another deal with the NHL to create a new stat called face-off probability.
Okay.
It's another metric for people to take a look and watch hockey in terms of who's going to win a face-off. I mean, I'm assuming there's a bet for that.
I'm assuming that could be a prop bet. I mean, if there's a prop bet on the coin flip at the Super Bowl, there, I guess, could be a prop on who wins a face-off.
The NHL face-off metric is calculated live prior to each face-off. and relies on data from the league's puck and player tracking system, the NHL Edge.
So wait, you go on to Amazon. I guess, do you have to be
it's going to be incorporated
Prime?
somewhere.
It's going to be incorporated. Oh, so it's not just at Amazon. You don't have to be an Amazon Prime member.
No, but
it's
a data feed. It's a data
All right,
feed.
okay.
They're probably going to make this accessible to other sports books,
They're going to license it out.
other broadcasters, whatever you want to call it. But they're going to take the past decade of historical face-off data.
Okay.
And incorporate it with the current season data to see, to give you some odds on how or who is going to win the face-off.
Hey, that could help.
I mean, everything is all about data.
Yeah, well,
sports betting is all about data. Broadcasting is now data.
Every little bit of data helps you place a sports bet. I mean, I'm assuming that's what it's going to be used for because,
Well, again, it's a matter of...
Well, and everyone has these free-to-play games, these free-to-play probability games. So I'm sure it could be useful for people who want to play these free games and are not betting.
Any group that uses data, whether it's sports betting, whether it's broadcasting, whether it's even newspaper sites, they all need the data. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the times you're going to see data being used not just for sports betting, but for even just talking about the game.
Yeah, I bet you the teams will even use them. So
I wouldn't be surprised.
The teams will use them.
With this data, I wouldn't be surprised some player is going to have in his contract, if he wins X number of face-offs, he gets this much of a bonus.
Hey, yeah.
I mean, the players could use this for their own benefit in terms of getting more money or making themselves more valuable to their next team or their current team.
Sure.
I think it's kind of interesting that Amazon seems to be really getting involved in the data area more so than anything else in terms of the sports industry.
Great. And today's trip down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And as always, you can get in touch with Turnpike Sports by calling or texting us at 609-512-5910. That's 609-512-5910. At Turnpike Sports is the show's handle on Facebook and Twitter. At Turnpike Sports Radio is our handle on Instagram. And as always, our email address is info@turnpikesportsradio.com. And don't forget, you can listen to the show via Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, radio.com mobile app, as well as Stitcher and YouTube. You can also watch us on your smart TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. Head on over to turnpikesports.net. You'll be able to watch our video channel there.
Well, we got a great show coming up. We got a By the Number segment. We got a Beat in the House, and we got a book report. But coming up right after this, I'm talking with Greg Warren from USBets.com, Sports Handle, and Better Collective. We're going to talk all about sports betting in Canada. So stick around. Turnpike Sports will be right back.
Yeah, you, come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore.
Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here.
Use offer code SPICE404.
They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. Sports betting isn't just popular in the United States. In fact, some of the most interesting news stories about sports betting are coming out of Canada. And our next guest knows all about it because he writes about the biggest news stories coming out of Canada. From Better Collective and USBets.com, we have Greg Warren on the line. Greg, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. Excited to talk all things Canada today.
It's such an interesting market when it comes to sports betting. And looking at your bio, you're the perfect person to ask. I mean, you have an extensive experience in Canadian sports media. Before we get started, tell the audience what you've done in Canadian sports media.
Right. So I've kind of done a little bit of everything in Canadian sports media. I started out as a highlight guy for Rogers Sportsnet, all based out of Ontario. I've done a little radio work, had my own golf radio show for about a year as well.
Oh, wow.
Transitioned from there into writing for The Score, which is going to be launching The Score Bet in Ontario very shortly and is also already operational in a few of the states. And then started to dabble in a little bit of sports betting with the Covers Media Group on the east coast of Canada out of Nova Scotia. And that's kind of led me to a Better Collective now, where I report all things sports betting in Canada on a daily basis.
Everyone here that's interested in sports betting knows how the United States began their sports betting journey. New Jersey sued to get PASPA overturned, and that paved the way to implementing sports betting legislation. But I'm curious, how did sports betting start in Canada? I know Canada had some form of sports betting called parlay betting and just recently allowed single event betting. But what were the origins of sports betting for Canada?
Right. So it is drastically different from the United States. And the major difference in Canada is that we already have a mature sports betting market here, and gray market operators have been basically wooing Canadian bettors for the better part of 10, 15, 20 years. So there's already an established sports betting market in Canada. We also have a tribal sports book, predominantly Sports Interaction, that's been operating in the province, out of the province of Quebec and specifically in the province of Ontario. They have their own license to operate in Canada. So a lot of people have been sports betting for a very long time through Sports Interaction, and of course offshore with sites like Bet365, Betway, etc. So the government, though, we've had a game called ProLine. And it's operated from coast to coast, very, very popular in Ontario and especially in the Atlantic provinces. And that's been a sports game that's been around for a long time now in Canada, where sports bettors had to predict at least 3 outcomes, so parlay style betting. Very, very popular, particularly with NFL and especially with NHL in Canada. So everyone's already familiar with how to bet parlay style here in Canada. But of course, the news of single game wagering is really a home run for Canada now.
Now, here in the U.S., sports betting is regulated by the individual states. How is Canada sports betting set up? Do the different provinces oversee their own sports betting industry? Do they have their own rules and regulations? How is it regulated in Canada?
You got it. So exactly that way. So it's the provinces are responsible for developing their own regulations and guidelines for sports betting. So what's happening in Canada right now is Ontario, which is home to about 15 million people and represents the biggest population in Canada. There's about 40 million people roughly in the entire country of Canada, and 15 million of those are living in Ontario. So they've set up 2 government entities. One of them's the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario. The other is iGaming Ontario. And they've gone and developed a framework for sports betting in the province specifically. Anything from advertising to player location, tax rates, all of that is being handled by those 2 government entities. And so what's happening now is we have private operators that are applying for licenses, and some of them are they have been approved already, and many more will be approved leading up to an April 4th launch in Ontario specifically. So the other provinces right now, there isn't any talk of really establishing legal framework yet. Everyone's kind of watching Ontario. But each entity, so Nova Scotia, British Columbia, Saskatchewan, all of those provincial governments will be responsible for regulating and coming up with all these rules and guidelines for private operators eventually.
You know, that's interesting because I was going to ask you, in the U.S., there are states that are industry leaders. I mean, in Nevada, New Jersey, New York is kicking everyone's butt when it comes to handle and revenue in just a short time. In Canada, is there an industry leader or is there an expected industry leader when it comes to the provinces? I mean, is there a Vegas version of Canada? Like I said, I'm hearing big things for Ontario, but what are the regions and the important dates we should be aware of when it comes to sports betting in Canada?
Right. Well, you said it. Ontario is definitely the hub of everything sports betting right now. So Ontario is really taking the bull by the horns. The provincial government is really backing this legislation, and they want to get the market up and running. So they've already agreed to launch in Ontario, and we're going to have roughly 30 private operators that are going to launch,
Wow.
including some of the major players that you guys know in the United States, like BetMGM, PointsBet, FanDuel, etc. So we're going to have this crash of 30 private operators on April the 4th. There's still a lot of details to be ironed out surrounding the framework, but the government has given them that firm date of April the 4th. So that's going to be a very exciting day in Ontario. So yes, Ontario is really taking the bull by the horns on this, and the other provinces are kind of watching, and they want to see how this all plays out before they make any major moves.
In Ontario, do you expect them all to go live at once? Is there going to be a staggered opening? Are some ready to go and some not? How is that going to look on April 4th?
Exactly. So that's to be determined still. Like I said, there's still some details to be ironed out. Right now, PointsBet Canada and the Score Bet have approved licenses. They've publicly announced it. There's also a company in the iGaming realm called Rivalry that has an approved license as well. So right now we only have 3 approved operators, but we're expecting in the days, weeks, and coming up here that we're going to have more announcements, and we're going to find out exactly how many of these private operators are going to be able to launch. So we don't know if it's just going to be, up to 20, 30 companies launching on April the 4th, or if it will just be a select few. We still don't know.
What do you expect going forward with the different provinces in Canada? I mean, here in the U.S., there are so many different rules and regulations that could vary from state to state. One example I always throw out is collegiate sports. Some states don't allow betting on colleges located within their borders. Some states don't allow betting on collegiate events taking place within their state. And then there are other states that allow college betting on teams, but no prop bets on their athletes. What kind of limitations are there for Canadian sports bettors, and how do you think that the rules and regulations are going to vary from province to province?
Right. Okay. So that's a really tough question. What I can speak about is what I know regarding the Ontario situation right now, because they have ironed out some of those details. So pretty much everything is fair game except for any sports that involve amateur athletes, specifically athletes that are under the age of 18 years old. So it's a big no-no to bet on minor hockey. So junior hockey is very popular in the province of Ontario. So that's a big no-no. So you won't see any of the sports books offering odds on anything like that. Everything else is fair game. And I don't really see, we don't know because the other provinces haven't developed any framework for their sports betting yet specifically. But what I will predict is that everything should be fair game. I don't think it's going to vary, say between Ontario and Manitoba, as far as what the offerings will be for bettors. I think that will kind of be more of a Canada-wide thing, and I think a lot of the provinces will piggyback off of the framework that Ontario uses, and you probably won't see too much variation. Again, that's an educated guess because we don't have the framework, but that's what I think will happen.
Now, you mentioned some of the books coming to Canada. Is there one book that everyone feels will be the dominant book in the country, or do you think it'll be different from jurisdiction to jurisdiction? I mean, I'm sitting here in New Jersey, and there's a Caesars commercial on every 5 minutes. When coming out of Philadelphia, there's a PointsBet commercial coming out every 5 minutes. It seems like every sports book has a dominant area. Do you think there's going to be one sports book that will really do well in Canada?
Yeah, so we're heavily influenced by the United States and all of the advertising campaigns there. So I think the usual players, DraftKings and FanDuel, they're going to be huge. They're going to bring offerings to the table that nobody in Canada has seen before. PointsBet is making a huge push in Canada. They've announced all kinds of interesting region-specific partnerships with Alpine Canada, with the NHL Alumni Association, and also with the Trailer Park Boys. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that hit comedy TV series. Very popular here in Canada, very funny guys. So I think those 3 are definitely going to do well. Caesars already has a casino in the Windsor area, right across the border from Detroit. So I could see them doing quite well in the region as well. But it's tough to say. There's a lot. there's a lot to be determined on that front. An interesting operator from my perspective is the Score Bet. The Score has been operating in the Toronto area as a media outlet. They had a TV cable station for a long time, and now they've kind of morphed into the digital side of things. They have a very popular sports app worldwide.
I have it on my phone. I love it.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. So the Score, I think they're an interesting one. They already have quite the following in Ontario, so I think they'll also do quite well if they can convert their users on the sports app into their sports betting app, which I think they shouldn't have too much of a problem doing.
Do you think that one sport is going to be the most popular in Canada? Canada, when I think of Canada, I think it's got some of the greatest hockey teams and hockey players around. For the U.S., NFL is king when it comes to betting. But then there are always some strange sports coming out of, like Colorado and Oregon. I have no idea why their top 5 bets are sometimes on table tennis. It's always one of the top 5 sports that they bet on. Only in Colorado and Oregon. I don't understand that. But for Canada, is there going to be one sport or one interesting sport that maybe the U.S. won't be betting on that Canada will bet on?
Sure. So here's what people are betting on in Canada. NFL number 1 by far.
Really? Okay.
Yes, Canadians love their football. Also, our own football league, the Canadian Football League, the CFL, very popular with bettors here too. So we have the CFL season runs from the late spring through the summer and into the fall. So it kind of takes the spotlight here in Canada while the NFL has their off season. Obviously, hockey is huge. People love to bet hockey all across the nation. And something that's a little more region specific, I would say, that's very popular to bet on is curling.
Oh, okay.
And especially with the Winter Olympic Games right now, curling has been wildly popular, and there's a few nationwide tournaments that get a lot of play as well. So I know particularly on the East Coast and the Atlantic provinces, curling is very popular, and also in the prairie provinces like Manitoba and Saskatchewan, very, very popular CFL and curling. So yeah, those are kind of niche sports that will get a lot of attention from Canadian bettors, and any of these sports books that are coming in from internationally or from the United States, they'll definitely want to take note that those are important markets to attract Ontario's bettors and bettors in the rest of Canada.
How important will mobile sports betting be in Canada? I'm in a state, New Jersey, where mobile sports betting is about 90% of the handle. But in some states like Mississippi, they have sports betting, but they don't have mobile sports betting. What is it like in Canada? How important will mobile sports betting be for the entire sports betting industry in the country?
Absolutely. So Canada is going to follow the trend of everywhere really right now. Mobile sports is going to be pretty much everything. Right now, people using the ProLine games, you're able to bet on single games using ProLine right now. They also have a retail operation, so they have over 10,000 locations across Canada where you can go in. It's typically in convenience stores or gas stations that you can go in and fill out your ProLine ticket manually or using an app builder. So retail will be important from that perspective. I think you'll definitely see some sports books popping up, particularly in Ontario in the border towns, so the Niagara Falls, Buffalo region, and of course, we already talked about Caesars in Windsor right near Detroit. I think those are two ideal spots where you're probably going to see the first sports books in Canada where people will actually get that Vegas feel. I know that's something, just speaking to a lot of bettors in Canada, that they're really looking forward to. I know a lot of people take the trip south to Vegas for March Madness or for the Olympics or for college basketball playoffs. Just to go and enjoy the sports books down there. So yes, the retail portion I think will follow after the mobile applications, and will do well, but mobile is going to be where the bulk of business is done here in Canada.
Earlier in the interview, you mentioned offshore sportsbooks, and it's interesting. This morning, I just heard a commercial for a sportsbook here in New Jersey, and they stressed, we're more safe and secure than offshore sportsbooks. I'm very curious, what is Canada doing about offshore book? They're in the sports betting business now, and I'm curious about what they're saying, stay away from the offshore books, come give us your money. What is the relationship now between Canada and the offshore books?
Right, exactly. So the offshore books have been able to function here for a long time. And again, this framework is still developing, so it's not concrete. But what I'm hearing from sources here in Ontario specifically is that any offshore operators are going to have to obtain an Ontario iGaming license, and if they want to continue to operate in the province. And additionally, what they're going to have to do is open up a .ca domain, and they're going to have to convert their bettors from their existing site to their Canadian site. So it shouldn't be too difficult because all of these offshore operators already have tons of player databases that they can draw off of. So they're going to be reaching out through their apps. They're going to be reaching out through email, and they're going to have to ask their Canadian subscribers to basically set up new specific Canadian accounts. We could see them offering some intriguing bonus offers to do that. So it's something that a lot of the new operators to Ontario aren't too happy about, because the offshore books definitely have a major head start on the rest of the field because they have these databases already. So the relationship between Canada and the offshore books is actually particularly good, and that they're in an advantageous position right now.
Well, recently the Super Bowl was played, and the numbers here in the U.S., the betting numbers were just incredible. Nevada had a handle of over $179 million. New Jersey had a handle of over $143 million. New York's numbers were off the charts. They're just doing incredible. But I'm curious, how was the betting on the Super Bowl for Canada in the sports betting industry?
Exactly, yeah. So all I can tell you is the limited information I have, which is from the provincially run lotteries and the Pro Line. And also Play Now out in British Columbia. So British Columbia was the only, the British Columbia Lottery Corporation was the only place that would actually give me numbers. And they're saying that they had more than 70,000 bets that were placed, and that basically equaled out to about $2.1 million. Out on the east coast of Canada, the Atlantic Lottery Corporation, they reported that they had a record this year. They didn't want to give specific numbers. And same with Ontario. They said that the Super Bowl was very, very good. It was way better than any playoff games or the Grey Cup that they had. But they didn't specifically want to reveal any handle numbers either. So the general consensus in Canada is that it was record-breaking from coast to coast.
Wow.
And out in BC, the previous record for them, I believe, was just over $1 million. But there's kind of a huge asterisk with all of these sports betting numbers, because this is the first time that Canadian bettors have ever been able to bet on single events. Before it was just parlay style, obviously not as much interest. With single game wagering being in place this time around for the Super Bowl, it was obviously a huge hit.
Well, I got to ask you about another huge betting event that's coming up in the U.S., and that's March Madness. What are the expectations for Canadian sports betting industry? When it comes to that event, it's mainly U.S. colleges and universities. What are the expectations for March Madness in Canada, and are you expecting something along the lines of another record-breaking event like the Super Bowl?
Right. So unfortunately, a lot of the private operators were really pushing to get that date. Initially, they were really hoping that around Christmas time or in January, this new open market in Ontario would be open for business. So I know March Madness was one of the reasons why they wanted to have the Super Bowl. They wanted to have the Olympics, and they especially wanted to have March Madness. So Ontario bettors specifically, and bettors across Canada, they're going to have to continue to bet with their provincial lotteries. It will be a big event. It won't be as big as the Super Bowl, and I don't think it will be as crazy as it is in the United States. A lot of popular teams like UConn, Syracuse, Gonzaga, they're particularly followed by Canadian sports bettors. Any university team that has a major Canadian star will be a big hit. I know a lot of bettors here, it'll be more like office pool type stuff, putting together brackets, or I know a lot of people still use Yahoo Sports or CBS, and they'll be filling out their brackets that way. Right now, the provincial lotteries they haven't announced any plans for any kind of fun bracket type structure, but that is something that we could potentially see here in Canada in the next few weeks.
Well, you mentioned the Olympics, and I want to ask about that. But first, I want to say congratulations to the Canadian women's hockey team. They beat the U.S. for the gold medal. Congratulations to Canada. What about the Olympics? Has there been heavy betting on the Olympics? I know in the U.S. the TV ratings are down, so I'm not quite sure how that would translate into betting numbers. But what is it like in Canada betting on the Olympics? Right.
So I haven't... I don't have any specific numbers from the provincial lotteries yet on how their Olympic handles have been. A lot of the conversations I've had with them recently have been surrounding the Super Bowl, and I know they're kind of running around pretty crazy right now, just trying to keep on top of everything. So, but from the limited conversations I have had, most of the action has been on snowboarding in Canada. Those
Really?
have been big
Okay.
events. Obviously, hockey has been huge.
Sure.
Unfortunately, the NHLers pulled out of the event. I think they would have seen a lot more interest if, Sidney Crosby was there, Nathan McKinnon was there, some of the really big high-end Canadian stars were playing in the event. And I'm sure it's the same across the United States if you speak with the sports books there. Mm-hmm. Obviously, a lot more excitement if the NHLers were involved, and curling. So I'm imagining those three will basically make up the majority of the bets that were placed over the Olympic break. But next week I'll be talking to a few of the sports books in Canada, and if you give sportshandle.com a follow or usbets.com a follow, we'll have more information on that from Canada next week.
One of the things I find fascinating about the sports betting industry are the deals that are being made. And recently you wrote about a very significant deal in usbets.com. Entain, which is a huge name in the gaming business, purchased Avid Gaming. Why is that deal so significant, and what does it mean for the Canadian gaming industry?
Right, exactly. So this is kind of an interesting acquisition because, as I spoke about earlier in this conversation, Sports Interaction is going to be a part of this deal. So Sports Interaction is taking a stand right now. They've actually said that they're not going to use Entain's Ontario license. Entain has applied for an Ontario iGaming license, but Sports Interaction is saying, no, we're going to continue to use our tribal rights. So it's really kind of presented this interesting dilemma in Ontario specifically for regulators, because Sports Interaction is using its tribal license and it continues to operate in Ontario. So I foresee a few legal challenges coming down the pipe here, and a lot of the tribes are kind of teaming up. They're not happy about this open market launching because they do get a percentage back from all of the provincial lotteries for their own Indigenous-led community incentives. So it's a big deal here in Canada because of the involvement of Sports Interaction, and we're going to have to see how that plays out over the coming weeks and months. The Ontario government hasn't responded to Sports Interaction yet, and their claims that, no, look, we're not going to get an Ontario license and we're going to continue to do business as usual. So we'll see how the Ontario government responds to that and to see if they can come to some kind of understanding or agreement.
One thing I've noticed from the mobile sports books here in New Jersey, where I'm sitting, is that they have online casinos attached to them. What is going on with regard to online casinos in Canada? And if they don't have them now, can you possibly see them in Canada's future?
Right, exactly. So we already have them. It's kind of the short answer to that question. So the provincial lotteries, as well as offering sports betting, they do have iCasino offerings now. Mm-hmm. So places like the Ontario Lottery and Gaming Commission Corporation, they already have these systems in place, and people are already enjoying these games. Obviously, along with the sports betting community, a lot of operators that are applying to operate in Ontario, they also have iCasino and iGaming options for people as well. And esports is another whole untapped kind of resource here too. Yeah. So I know there's a few companies that are looking into that. Mohegan Gaming, I know out of their casino in Niagara Falls, they envision having a huge entertainment complex for esports and having programs in place so that people can bet on esports as well. So more to come on that, but it's already here, and yes, it's going to, along with sports betting, the iGaming and iCasino side is just going to go wild too.
Do you see any big partnerships between the sports books and the online casinos? Because that was big in New Jersey. They were starting to partner up, and it's a shared wallet with a lot of them. So do you see that happening in Canada?
Absolutely. I think there's a ton of partnerships here still to come here in Canada. We haven't seen any yet, but we definitely will be. I know there's kind of this big golden nugget in the industry right now. Everybody wants to partner with Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. And they own the Toronto Raptors, the Toronto Argonauts, Toronto FC, the Toronto Maple Leafs. So that's going to be kind of the plum partnership that everyone's going to be seeking. I've heard that they're still on the market. Some of the big sports books have been really trying to nail that partnership down. But I am hearing that they're still on the market and entertaining offers as we speak. But I anticipate some big news with MLSE probably in the next few weeks here.
See, I was going to ask that. I mean, are there any big deals coming our way pretty soon? Is there anything down the road which is going to be huge for the Canadian gaming industry?
That's right. So yes, definitely MLSE. Rogers is also another big contract. They own the Toronto Blue Jays. So that'll be another partner that a lot of these sports books and iCasino companies are going to be seeking. Obviously, Rogers too. They also have affiliations with some of the hockey teams on the West Coast in Edmonton and BC as well. So yes, the two big ones will be MLSE and Rogers.
Now, I know one of the big issues for the gaming industry in the U.S. is responsible gaming. I know the American Gaming Association is really involved with that, as well as the professional leagues and the sports books. What is Canada doing with regard to responsible gaming? And is it a countrywide movement? Is it coordinated by the different provinces? How are they dealing with responsible gaming?
Exactly. Yeah. So this is actually a huge talking point right now in the industry, and rightfully so. So as far as responsible gaming goes, that will be a provincial jurisdiction. So each province will be outlining some of the rules and regulations for responsible gaming. I know in Ontario, regulators are prohibiting the promotion of bonuses or sign-up offers in a public forum. So you're not going to see a billboard or let's say like a PointsBet or a FanDuel, putting out any kind of direct bonus information on Twitter, on Facebook, TikTok, or putting up a big billboard in downtown Toronto, announcing, some of the bonus or deposit matches they might have. So you're not going to see anything. So
really?
They're also implementing a province-wide exclusion program. So if you report yourself as a problem gambler or somebody else reports you on your behalf, you're not going to be able to open or use accounts with any of the private operators in Ontario. So let's say you have a FanDuel account once they launch in Ontario and you report yourself as a problem gambler, you're not going to be able to open an account with the ScoreBet or PointsBet. It's just not going to happen. So those are some of the things that are being discussed and are in the framework right now. But the onus will be on the private operators to teach people how to bet and how to educate them on safe, responsible gaming practices. I was speaking with Nick Sulsky over at PointsBet Canada, and he said he wants to use his NHL alumni partnership to really hammer home his responsible gaming aspect for PointsBet this year. He's going to use some of the ex-hockey players to basically run some educational platforms across the province and to help people out in that respect.
Greg, we're running out of time, but can you give out your website where people can go and read your articles, and also give out your social media address so people can keep up with what you're doing?
Absolutely. So you can read anything that I'm writing about on sportshandle.com. I also appear on usbets.com. You can find me on Twitter at GregWarrenBC. And so if you ever feel free to reach out if you have any questions regarding Ontario or Canada, anyone that's listening, and lots more to come from us here in Canada.
Greg Warren from usbets.com, Sports Handle, and Better Collective. Thanks so much for coming on and giving us an update about what's going on in Canada. It's a very interesting gaming market and sports betting market, so please come back on and keep us updated about what's going on in Canada. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports. We'll get back to the show in a few moments, but I just wanted to take some time and tell everyone about Bean Genius, the smart specialty coffee subscription service. Bean Genius sells freshly roasted coffee from some of the best independent coffee roasters in the country. They feature over 2,000 specialty coffee blends, all at your fingertips at beangenius.com. Here's how it works. Head on over to beangenius.com and take their palate profiler test to find out what coffee best fits your taste. Then select from a variety of subscription plans. Every subscription comes with free shipping, and delivery can even be scheduled for once or twice each month. And based upon your review of each coffee blend you try, Bean Genius actually learns your individual taste preferences and then suggests future coffee blends for you. And now you can get 10% off your Bean Genius subscription when you use our promo code PIKE at checkout. Bean Genius offers a variety of subscription plans to suit any coffee lover's needs. Subscribe with Bean Genius today and start enjoying some of the best tasting coffee around. And save 10% off your coffee plan with promo code PIKE. And By the Numbers is sponsored by Play Sugar House Online Casino and Sportsbook in New Jersey. Sign up at playsugarhouse.com/Pike and get a first deposit match of up to $250. Enjoy the casino experience online. Play Sugar House offers over 400 games online, slots, table games, hey, even bingo. It's like being in a casino without leaving your home.
And welcome to this week's edition of By the Numbers, where we're going to be talking about a certain number or a couple of numbers or a statistic that's going to relate to the gaming industry, the sports betting industry, the casino industry, and I'm going to have Dave try and guess it. And, every so often we're going to be doing this segment. We're going to have maybe one number one time, maybe multiple numbers.
By the way, I'm really bad at this guessing the number thing, but 2 weeks ago I got it. Last week, I partially got one, so I call that a win for me. So I'm kind of on a heater for me. So I'm pretty proud of myself how I'm doing at beating the numbers in 2022. So
well,
go ahead, give it to me.
Let's see how you do with
I feel
this
confident.
Week's number. 903, and it's not an area code.
903. All right.
And it's not an area code.
Boy, it's a weird number, 903. I mean, it's not million or billion or anything like that, right? It's not a money.
I would actually say billion or whatever.
Okay. You would say something like that. Okay. We were having a lot of fraud numbers coming out. Geolocation was talking about, what was it, Missouri trying to get into Illinois and things like that. Can it be some kind of fraud, or can it be some kind of blocking of people or something like that?
Stop right there.
Okay.
You stop at fraud.
Okay. I went too far.
You
All
kept going, and you
I kept
probably
going,
should
and I just
not
went
have.
right off that cliff, huh?
Yep, you just went.
Wait,
you
before
went
you
one
even tell
step
me,
too far.
Can I count that as a win?
You can count that as a win.
All right. Okay.
It's another half.
Oh,
win.
I'm on a heater.
Well, this is 903.
All right.
Sport Radar's Universal Fraud Detection System recorded 903 instances of suspicious betting activity in 2021.
Okay.
That's the highest level in its 17-year history.
Now, that's kind of a vague term, suspicious betting activity. And what does that mean? I guess there's no one kind of suspicious betting activity.
Whether there's certain bets being placed on certain players or a team or something like that. That's what they mean by suspicious betting activity. In the new report that they released, titled Betting Corruption and Match Fixing in 2021.
Oh, okay.
They identified 903 suspicious matches across 10 different sports, spanning 76 different countries.
So they're actually looking at the sporting event, and they're finding suspicious activity with regard to the sporting event?
Suspicious betting
activity on a particular sporting event.
Right.
Interesting. That's a lot. 900. What was it? 900 and something?
903.
903?
Well, that's a 2.4% increase from the previous high of 882 suspicious matches. That was recorded back in 2019, so it's been 2 years since they've actually had a number this high.
Well, I mean, that's incredible. I mean, that's... when you say suspicious betting, like we were talking about last week, people from out of state trying to bet inside another state sports book. But I would consider that suspicious betting activity. But no, that takes it to a new level, actually looking at the sporting event and looking at suspicious betting activity. Well, that's a big number. 900?
When I first read this,
in 1 year?
I had to get the American hat off, because what happened is football generated the highest number of suspicious alerts. And when they say
U.S. football?
No, when they say football.
Okay, soccer.
Soccer.
Okay. There's so many soccer leagues, so I guess that number would be high. And soccer is almost year-round.
One in every 201 game matches.
There are so many soccer matches in a year, so I guess that would be
That's actually a good percentage, one out of every 201.
Yeah, well, it's suspicious betting activity.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that it could have been a lot more.
I think hopefully everyone's hoping for zero. But
September and October yielded the highest number of suspicious matches with 105 and 104 each month. And lower league football competitions were said to be significantly affected by match fixing.
I got to tell you, everyone loves betting on soccer here. I mean, we're driving early morning in New Jersey. You see some sports books or some sports bars pretty packed with patrons and they're watching soccer. You know, there's a sports bar near us. I'm not going to say the name of it. It's an Irish name, and I guess they call it the Breakfast Club on Sunday mornings. They come in like 9 o'clock in the morning. They have their eggs, the toast, and they're watching soccer, and they're betting.
They
on
have
it
their
'cause it's
Premier
New
League.
Jersey.
Yeah,
Is it Premier League?
Yeah,
I don't even know what league it is. There's so many leagues
well,
out there. Now.
I've noticed depending on what league is playing, it depends on that's how big the crowd is. Because I know when Premier League is playing, the parking lot's packed.
Yeah, well, hey, if you love early morning betting, you're betting on soccer.
Or table tennis.
More often than not, you're betting on soccer.
Last little bit of numbers here. 1 in every 384 esports events was flagged.
Okay.
And basketball followed close behind that with 1 in every 498 games.
Now, when they say basketball, do they mean international leagues?
International. This is all international.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
that's why I'm saying I had to take the American hat off because football meant soccer in this instance.
Okay. All right.
So
you got to fill us in on that one.
Well, I let off with that, saying I took the American hat off.
That was very cryptic.
So that's it for this week's by the numbers. I figured just do one number here. It was a very interesting number. It was a record number.
So considering that a win for me?
Yes, you can
consider that a win for me.
If you're keeping score, it's a win.
So what are we doing? Beating the House next?
Beating the House coming up next.
I know. I saw you mention it, so I guess that was a production. Was that a production meeting? We call that a production meeting?
I was looking ahead at my production notes.
Okay. So Beating the House is next, so stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports. Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Casino. People gotta win sometime.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a giant, colorful check to deposit.
Beating the House is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Slots, table games, live dealer games, everything you love about Atlantic City and Vegas, all online at BetMGM. Don't wait. Join in the fun now. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Grab a lion's share of the fun at BetMGM.com. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome to another edition of Turnpike Sports Beating the House, where we're going to crisscross the country talking about the different casino wins, the jackpots that occur by the slots, by the table games, sports betting wins. Pai Gow poker seems to be a big one the last couple of weeks.
You got another Pai Gow poker?
Looks like I got another Pai Gow poker.
I'm trying to learn that. I'm still in the process. But is this another one of those stories where someone tried Pai Gow poker for the first time, they won this huge jackpot and something like that? Or
I wish I could tell you because it was just a little blurb from the casino that released it.
Okay.
And,
I think we had one of those a couple of weeks ago. That someone tried
Exactly.
Pai Gow poker and they had a jackpot.
Well, Pai Gow poker, the only reason I know, I'm pretty sure it was Pai Gow poker. They didn't say the name of the game, but in the picture you could see all the different cards, and it was a side bet too.
Okay, so there were like two cards separated
two card
out.
rows. There were two card rows, something like that. So I'm going on an assumption, but when we get to it, we'll get to it.
I've yet to try that live. I've only tried it online. That's one thing about online casinos. They're great for learning a game.
Yes.
So that's what I'm doing.
Well, we're going to start off in Las Vegas with Planet Hollywood.
Okay.
And this is a short one because it was just thrown out there on Planet Hollywood's Twitter handle. It was a $4 bet to win $1.47 million on a Buffalo Diamond slot machine.
Wow. $4, really?
Always watch out for the Buffalo.
Now, is that one of those famous Buffalo machines
the
you always see?
Aristocrat. That's an
As soon as you
Aristocrat.
walk onto the gaming floor, you see a Buffalo machine.
That's
So
an
this is the
Aristocrat
one you're
Buffalo.
talking
This
about.
is one of those.
Okay, $4, huh?
$4, and it won
Good for them.
$1.47 million.
Wow.
So congratulations to the winner there.
So no name given or anything like that.
It was just a tweet out
Yeah.
by the casino. Probably in a couple of days they'll have a press release for it.
I'm not sure if I would give my name.
don't know.
I'm trying to think. If I won big, like a couple $1 million, would you stand with the check there and, hey, Dave W. just won $1 million and something dollars? I'm not sure if I would do that.
Well, let me put it this way: I have never been in this position,
Yeah, well-
to actually make that call. So
I hope
don't know.
I find out one day what I would do. So,
Well,
so
we're
that's
going to go across the country over to Atlantic City, New Jersey.
okay, all right.
As a matter of fact, we're going to be in New Jersey for the next 3 jackpots here.
Okay.
We're going to be going brick and mortar for 2 of them. One's online, but they're all the Hard Rock brand.
I thought you meant physically. What are you talking about? Okay. So the next 3 stories are what?
They
Atlantic City?
They all involve the Hard Rock brand.
Okay.
Sorry,
Oh.
sorry, Hard Rock. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, the Hard Rock brick and mortar casino, Atlantic City. Anthony L. of Jersey City, New Jersey, won $766,499 on a $1 wide area progressive Wheel of Fortune slot machine. No mention of what the size of the bet was.
Okay, but let me tell you something. Wheel of Fortune is one of those machines
It's
that
like the
just
Buffalo machines.
give money, man. It's Divine Fortune online. I know they're really great for giving away money. The Wheel of Fortune is always great in the brick and mortar and online. And you have the Monopoly games.
Yes.
The whole family of Monopoly games are really great for,
And-
I guess you would consider them loose slots. So,
They're designed to pay out.
yeah,
Put
well,
it
they
that
do.
way.
They do.
Well, we're going from the brick and mortar. Well, actually, we're going to stay with the brick and mortar. The reason I'm having 2 more Hard Rock branded jackpots here, they both occurred on the same day.
Oh, wow.
One online, one in the brick and mortar.
Okay.
Brick and mortar was a $62,000 jackpot playing double top dollar by IGT.
Okay.
And the online was a $50,000 online jackpot playing the Riverboat Queen slot by Every Interactive.
Never.
I took a
never
look
played
at this game because, the online games, I always find it interesting because they have different themes. And they have some really cool graphics.
it. Okay.
And this one is the Riverboat Casino theme.
Okay.
And it has multiple jackpot features as also multiple bonus features. So whoever won the 50,000 may have hit one of these features. They got a one spin on the wheel. The wheel bonus is the one feature. Players get one spin on the wheel for a chance to win up to 25,000 credits
Okay.
on a single spin.
I gotta tell you, I gotta write down some of these slot machines that you're talking about at Hard Rock because in a couple weeks we're going to be down at Hard Rock
Yes.
for the what's it called,
Land
Land
Duel.
Duel?
Yes.
It's the first state-sanctioned peer-to-peer betting event for esports.
Yes.
I think I got that all right.
You got that
But
right.
Yeah, no,
You got
okay,
that
yeah,
right.
no, but it should be an interesting event. So,
And it's one of
and
the,
while I'm there, I'm going to check out what are the Wheel of Fortune you said, and the double top dollar.
double top dollar.
All right,
That's
okay.
almost a classic looking slot.
Okay,
So,
well.
but again, 3 jackpots with the Hard Rock brand, 1 online, 2 brick and mortar. So congratulations to those 3 players. We're going back across the country now to California.
Oh, okay.
We actually have done Chumash before,
Can't remember.
but Chumash
I'll take your
Casino,
word for it.
a Northridge, California woman hit a jackpot of $415,000
Wow.
from the resort's bonus spin blackjack progressive jackpot. It's not a slot machine; it's a table game.
Okay.
Just so you know, because when we're talking progressive jackpots, usually we talk about a slot machine.
You know, what threw me is you wrote down bonus spin. So
Yes, well, I will get into that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
There's a spinning element
Yes,
to it.
there is.
Okay. All right.
And it comes out of a side bet.
Okay.
This was the largest payout from a table game in the resort's history.
All right.
The previous record was $168,187. So it blew right by that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
The woman played a $5 side wager on the bonus spin blackjack table game. She was dealt a blackjack, which prompted her to press a button and watch a virtual wheel spin until it landed on one of 12 cash prizes.
Oh, okay. All right.
The wheel landed on the progressive jackpot.
I have never played a game like that
And if
before.
anyone's
I know
watching me on TV, I am looking at my notes, so
Yeah.
I got that procedure correct.
Yeah,
So-
I'm looking at your notes too, so I'm trying to figure this out. So she got blackjack, which allowed her to make
Triggered the
some
bonus.
kind of bonus spin.
Right.
And you hit a button and it virtually spins.
Before that,
kind of thing.
she made the side bet.
Okay.
Then then the table game dealt her a blackjack.
Okay.
Which triggered the bonus spin.
All right.
And then she watched the virtual wheel spin
Okay.
until it hit the jackpot.
Okay.
First
Hey,
time
good for her.
First time it's hit the jackpot in over 2 years.
Wow.
The jackpot had been building since it was last won on New Year's Eve in 2019.
I was going to ask that. It's been building up for 2 years?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
105,000 was the jackpot back then. Going back to Las Vegas, we have the Boulder Station Casino, and this is what I was talking about at the top of the segment. We have a Vegas local at the Boulder Station. He hit, or she hit, they didn't say. They hit a 7-card straight flush with a joker for $302,900, and then there was a $9,000 fortune bonus win.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I'm saying it's got to be Pai Gow Poker because of the side bet.
I don't know. There's a whole bunch of these table games, like Let It Ride and, the Caribbean poker stuff, and who knows what it is. But it sounds like Pai Gow. And you showed me the picture,
Yes.
and it kind of looks like Pai Gow. So it had the
that's what I'm
5
saying.
cards and had
Yeah.
the 2 cards on the side there.
It's
So-
if anyone's interested, if you ever go to the station's casinos, go all the way down to the bottom of their webpage and take a look at the blog. Mm-hmm. That's where they announce some of these things.
Oh, okay.
And it's very cool that they give them their own page where they announce what the game was, most of the time, except for this one, obviously. And they put a picture up. So, staying in Vegas, we're going over to the Link. As a matter of fact, people who watch Daily Wager, that's the Link.
Oh, okay.
That's where they filmed it.
I didn't know that's where they filmed it.
The
Okay.
Link Hotel and Experience in Las Vegas. That's its formal name.
Hotel and Experience?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
A man from St. Paul, Minnesota, won a jackpot of $145,567 playing Mega Jackpot 3-card poker. Another table game.
Yep.
So another big jackpot coming out of Vegas. Mm-hmm. We're going to leave Vegas now.
Oh, okay.
And we're going over to Idaho.
Have we ever had anything from Idaho before?
Matter of fact, we've had this casino.
This casino, huh?
This exact
All right.
casino. Idaho is the land of jackpots, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Coeur d'Alene Casino.
All right.
Brian and his wife, and I'm reading this because I thought this was the way it should be read here. Brian and his wife were betting pennies at a $5 per spin Aristocrat Caribbean or Caribbean? I'm going to say Caribbean.
Caribbean.
Gold dollar store machine when they hit the $112,000 jackpot.
See, I like stories like that. They're using their pennies. They probably have.
Are
them
they
in a
really
jar.
using pennies?
I don't know.
I mean,
that's what they're saying. So I'll take them as their word with their word.
I don't know too many.
Was that
machines.
the press release? They were
Yes,
using their pennies.
They were, yeah.
Okay. Well,
I'm just.
yes, they were using their
I
pennies.
just don't remember seeing too many machines that take coins anymore.
Yeah,
Most of it,
that's
you throw the
interesting.
dollars.
Well, we are in Idaho, so no offense, Idaho, but
Well, I don't know too much about the
I kind of
Caribbean
miss
Gold
that.
Dollar Store.
We grew up near Atlantic City, and we were there all the time. I miss the coin sound in the casinos. The great thing about growing up near Atlantic City is we have this massive collection of these plastic coin holders or something like that they gave away for free to catch your coins when you won at the slot machines.
Especially if you were taking a Star Bus.
And yeah. And now, some of them are worth like $40. Stuff you pick up on the gaming floor and you walk out of the casino with. They're free.
Well,
they give them to you, but now they're collector's items.
The couple lives 50 miles away from the casino, and they go there once a week. And they've been doing this over the last couple of years. This is the first time they've actually won anything big. Mm-hmm. So congratulations. Going back over to Las Vegas, Arizona Charlie's. We've never had an Arizona Charlie story until now. Lucky guess was at Arizona Charlie's Decatur, and he hit the bingo jackpot.
Oh, bingo.
We don't talk about bingo too much either.
No, we don't talk about bingo enough.
Frank won a total of $92,205 while playing Charlie's Double Progressive to earn the super win. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
And then he won another $7,500 on the
Wow.
super spin, making it a total of $100,000.
You know who's really pushing their bingo is Borgata, because they just started their online bingo game.
Borgata Bingo.
Yeah, what is it? 90 ball or
they have
70?
Two different kinds.
They have 90
75.
ball and 75
Right.
ball. And I don't think anyone else has 75 ball bingo.
No.
This is how much they're pushing it. They have TV commercials in New Jersey talking about Borgata bingo. So,
Well, if you go to our
I did play it, though.
If you go to our Turnpike Sports Radio.com website, you'll see a Borgata Bingo link.
Oh, okay.
Please try it out. It's actually a fun game.
Can they sign up using a code of ours?
Just click on the link and start playing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sign up and start playing
All
right there.
right. Yeah, good.
But again, I don't know too many bingo places that have side bets.
I didn't know. My like I said, my experience with bingo is Borgata Bingo, of course, because I tried it out. Virgin Casino Online has it, and Tropicana Casino Online has it, and I play there. I tried them out.
Last entry of the day.
All right.
This is a sports bet. And everyone's talked about this one.
Oh, is this the one I saw on online? I think someone tweeted it out, or
Lots of people tweeted it out. College basketball bet, 23-leg college basketball parlay.
Now, wasn't there something that I think he bet more, but one of them was a push?
No, he bet 23 legs, 22 cash.
Okay. So
one was a push.
Okay, so he bet 23-leg parlay.
122.
One was a push, so they just recalculated it for a 22.
Exactly. It would have been a lot bigger if he had won that.
Yeah, I guess so. It would have been. Yeah.
22 legs of the 23-leg parlay cashed, $532,000.
Wow.
The best part for everybody involved, especially the bettor, was only a $1.10 bet.
I love stories like that. What a great bet.
The odds were 990. Let me get this right here because I didn't put any commas in this number and I should have. 90 million, almost 91 million to 1.
Wow.
To win this. And
but you're only putting $1 on, which is fine. I feel comfortable doing stuff like that. Every Sunday for football, I do this $1 parlay, and I just do some crazy stuff because it's only $1. It never hits, but if it does hit, and it's never hit, I get like a huge amount of money. But you might as well check it out. You might as well try it.
I had one type of that kind of bet hit for the NFL season.
Oh, okay.
I had a 6-game parlay. And a lot of underdogs.
Oh, okay.
So won a good size there. But again, to get 22 legs and the 23rd
that's
was
impressive.
An exact push.
Yeah,
an 11-point spread push.
Mm-hmm.
That's very impressive. So
yeah. So what do they say? Parlays don't build bankrolls; they build sports books.
Yeah,
that's usually the case. But I'm glad someone actually something paid out for him.
Well, you have to admit, the United States bettor loves parlays.
Oh, love parlays. The big thing is same-game parlays now.
Yes.
Everyone's advertising them.
So that's it for this week's Beating the House segment. Please keep those press releases coming in, info@turnpikesportsradio.com, and we'll continue doing this segment because we actually love learning about the games just as much as hearing about the jackpots.
Absolutely. The book report's next, so stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Yeah, you, come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore.
Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sports book. Available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E. Make your first wager of $20 or more, and you'll get $100 in free bets. That's $100 in free bets when your first wager on Borgata Sports is $20 or more. Get into the action with BorgataSports.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to this week's edition of the Turnpike Sports Book Report, where we're going to go through the state and national reports for sports betting industry. We've got launches and licenses to talk about. We've got, we have over 15 states setting state records for handle in January. We're going to hit some of those in this week's report.
And I'm not sure if you're going to hit on it, but I just read the news that the USFL will be a bet on property in 15 states, at least.
Well,
right
we
now,
are leading off with the USFL.
Oh,
so,
okay. All right. I called it, huh?
Yep.
All right.
So we're going to start off with the USFL here. Again, for everyone who hasn't heard the news, I think everybody in the betting industry has heard the news that the USFL issued a press release, or Fox, I should say, issued a press release stating that 15 states have already confirmed that they will have legal regulated betting on USFL games.
Great.
Now, they're going to increase the number of states that are going to be doing regulated betting on the games. But again, the initial roundup of states, there's 15 of them. And I have to admit, I've been looking at the USFL, and this is the first league that has started off with an eye toward betting.
I got to be honest with you. I'm excited to see at least the first week of the USFL. I mean, I grew up watching the Jersey Generals and the Philly Stars and things like that. But in terms of betting on them, I have absolutely no clue how I'm going to bet on these teams. I think I said a couple of weeks ago, I'm fascinated how the sports books are going to put numbers on these things, because who knows what they have until you see the product. I mean, are there going to be preseason games so you can take a look at these games?
No, I think they're just starting. They're just starting
they're
right
just
off.
going to start right
The
up?
first game
All right.
for them is April 16th.
Okay. All right.
I think the USFL, while openly is very upset with Major League Baseball, but I think with the lockout...
Why are they upset? I would think they'd be happy.
Openly. Privately, they're probably dancing for joy, because if the Major League Baseball doesn't come up with an agreement immediately, it looks like maybe the first day of baseball could be May 1st, May 2nd, and the USFL may have a couple of weeks all by itself to get some betting revenue going.
Well, look, I mean,
as well as ratings,
I'm
say.
excited because, with baseball not starting on time, I'm glad the USFL is there to take some of my attention away. Certainly there's basketball, there's hockey, there's a lot of things that you can watch. And, to hell with baseball if they're going to be like this on both sides. I mean, seriously, there are other things to watch.
Well, when the USFL first announced they were relaunching, I can't say they were launching, they're relaunching. This is what, the second incarnation of the USFL, third?
I don't know. There's been XFL. There's the
just
other.
The USFL.
And I know
USFL.
There's been so many spring football leagues lately. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But I'm glad they're keeping the old teams. For me, it's nostalgia. I mean,
yeah.
Am I expecting to see great football? No. I'm
not for the
expecting
first
to see
couple of weeks.
The Philly Stars and the Generals and the Breakers and the Panthers and things like that. So I'm excited to see that. So.
Well, if you look at the way they structured everything, the USFL, when they first launched, one of the first things they did was do a deal with Sport Radar.
Sure.
Data.
I mean, look.
That immediately told me betting right there.
Yeah.
Also, if you look at their trademarks for the teams, the new ones, the new trademarks, all include betting. As services.
That's part of sports today.
5 of the 8 teams are in legal sports betting states.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
5 of the 8. And they are looking... I'm very curious to see what kind of bets are going to be offered. I took a look around at some of the states like New Jersey and Pennsylvania. No, they have not listed any type of betting for the USFL. As a matter of fact, at the time we're recording this, I looked through the New Jersey's approved sporting events list for betting. USFL is still not on there.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're going to be issuing an update
I'm sure
of that
they're
list.
going to update
most
it,
of these
so,
things are.
yeah.
I mean, we're looking at
Like I said, I mean, I think the sports books are really going to earn their money when they put some of the numbers on the spreads and the over-unders and the things like that, because I frankly don't know how they're going to do it, because I don't even think the teams have even practiced together yet. So I'm very curious to see the numbers when they come out.
And also with normal football, like the NFL
Normal
and college,
football?
I guess you can call it that. Well, the USFL is in one location. There's no home team advantage.
Sure.
And I'm curious to see how that affects the lines, because a lot of times you see odds makers looking at the home field advantage as well as just the individual players for the props and all that. But with no home field advantage, I mean, what do you do with
I mean, it's going to be interesting.
The opening lines. I mean,
it's going to be very interesting to see.
And also, I don't know if anyone. Well, I guess if you're familiar with the college players that got drafted, you could probably make educated guesses on the prop betting.
I don't know.
I just don't know. I just don't know anything
idea.
about how these offenses are going to look. I don't even know what kind of offenses they're going to be running.
It'll be fun to see. I know they have a podcast out now.
The USFL has its own podcast.
So, that might be helpful.
They actually are on like 10 or 12 episodes already.
Oh,
now.
really?
Yeah,
okay.
They were doing it before the draft started.
I'm going to have to take a listen because, like I said, I don't know too much about these teams, how they're made up. I know the coaching staffs of the different teams, but I just don't know the players.
It looks like it's going to be a very fun league, at least at the beginning.
I hope so. I
hope it's successful, because the USFL was actually a really good spring football league.
It was very good. I mean, they had Hall of Famers in it.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim Kelly and Doug Flutie played for Jersey Generals and things like that. It was pretty good.
Well, they had the right way to make the league.
Reggie White played.
I hope they do something similar in terms of how they make the league this year too. I mean, they don't. I haven't seen too many big names, other than on the staffs, the coaching and the front office, in terms of players.
Well, we'll see.
It could be a fun league. You never know. But let's move on to some of the record numbers that we just talked about. Before we get to the New York numbers, New York is constantly setting records here and there, but Nevada reported both a total handle record for January, $1.11 billion January total handle.
Mm-hmm.
That's their fourth consecutive month of $1 billion or more handles. They're doing extremely well.
Yeah, I don't know. They're doing great.
They also had a mobile monthly handle record of $786.8 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the highest I've seen for mobile handle for Nevada. I mean, I'm talking about percentage-wise.
Sure.
That's the percentage of going to mobile versus traditional retail, whatever you want to call it, seems to be shifting more and more to the mobile side. And I'm wondering if that has a lot to do with the amount of visitors now coming back in.
Well, look, I think it's I'd be curious to see how they break down the handle in-play betting, because, look, I mean, when you're doing in-play betting, you're not running to a window. You're usually on your phone. So I'm curious to see how much of the handle is the in-play betting.
Well, I don't know if Nevada separates it out like that.
I don't know.
So, but that's
every state does it differently. So.
Well, other states that have set records in the month of January: New Hampshire monthly sports betting handle record of $99.5 million. They also set a record for online handle in January of $81.6 million.
And New Hampshire is all DraftKings.
It's
right?
all DraftKings.
It's all DraftKings.
And also revenue record of $8 million.
Oh, okay.
Virginia reported a record monthly handle of $485,544,000 in January. To date, Virginia is now over $3.7 billion in handle.
Wow. Okay.
They are closing in on that $4 billion mark very quickly.
Great.
Colorado, record monthly handle in January as well, $520,720,000 in January. Online handle of $567 million. That's a record, and also it was almost 99% of the total handle.
Boy, a lot of records in January.
I don't know why January is. I know it's Super Bowl betting that's adding to it.
Okay. Well, we had some great NFL games too.
Yes.
The great NFL
playoffs, all
so,
that stuff. Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. So,
one thing that did take a hit for Colorado was the table tennis market. I know you like the table tennis reporting.
Yeah. Well,
it fell to eighth place.
That's interesting. Usually it's fifth or sixth. I'm amazed that it's that high as a bet sport in Colorado. What's the other state? Oregon?
Oregon.
Yeah, they love their table tennis there, but it's usually fifth or sixth. Now it dropped to eighth. Huh?
$7.5 million handle. That was eighth.
It's still pretty good.
That's pretty damn good.
It's shocking for table tennis. I can't get into table tennis. I don't know.
They
why.
even had retail betting on table tennis. They had table tennis represented 1.3% of the total handle for the state. They had an online handle of $7.5 million, retail handle of about 12,000. So somebody was at the teller window doing it.
I've never been in a sports book in Colorado, and I'm curious to see if the retail sports books in Colorado actually show table tennis.
I don't know.
In the thing.
I actually have never looked.
The only time I saw table tennis, it was streaming. I forgot which sports book I was looking at it because I was just curious. I'm not interested in table tennis or anything like that, but I was trying to find out what the big deal was that everyone's betting on it, and I looked at it, and it was just a table with two people hitting the ball back and forth.
All table
you didn't even
tennis
see
is.
the players. You just saw the
you just
table.
saw the ball?
You just saw the ball. You just saw the table and the ball going across.
Well, I know for a while, Rush Street Interactive, their brands, Bet Rivers and Play Sugar House, were both showing it.
That might have been the place I saw it. So.
Yeah, because
I was actually streaming it on the online sports book. So
I remember I watched darts in Unibet.
Oh, yeah, darts. I saw darts one time. They just showed the board and the darts hitting it. Mind you, no players were even shown. They just showed the board. So,
well, let's talk New York. And I think when you're talking
Can we just
New York,
say New York broke another record and just, move on?
I think when you talk New York, the operative word is billion.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Absolutely.
They were the fastest to $1 billion.
Sure.
The state was the fastest to $2 billion in handle.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had... In the last 2 weeks of February, and I did a little calculation here, because last week's Turnpike Sports book report, we did not have a chance to talk about the New York sports betting numbers for that week. We had taped it a little too early before the announcement came out.
We were probably too sick of hearing about New York, too.
Probably.
Jeez.
The last 2 weeks in February, listen to these numbers. Over $700 million in handle.
Mm-hmm.
That's more than some states do
so
for an
when
entire
was this?
month.
What was
the
this?
last 2 weeks of February.
Of February.
This is New York State.
All right.
Over $700 million in handle in 2 weeks. Over $50 million in gross gaming revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly $26 million in state taxes.
Wow.
In 2 weeks.
That's pretty good.
FanDuel became not only the leader in the state, they also are the first ones of the mobile operators in New York State to pass the $1 billion mark.
Wow.
In handle.
Interesting. Wow. When I think of New York, I always think of Caesars because they just constantly are advertising.
Well, Caesars had that early lead.
They had that early lead
because of the advertising blitz.
FanDuel always comes up from behind. I tell you that because in New Jersey it was DraftKings for a long time. Usually, mainly because they were the first mobile sports book to go live in New Jersey, and they were number one for a long time, and then FanDuel just overtook them.
Well, FanDuel is the example of first to market doesn't necessarily mean first in the market.
Yeah. So.
Because if you look at Caesars, and this is kind of indicative of possibly some brand recognition issues, too. Mm-hmm. Now, Caesars started off in New York with that huge welcome offer, $3,000 risk-free bet or match bet or whatever.
They still have that? Or?
That's gone.
That's gone, okay.
They went down to $1,500, and now the new offer is $1,100.
Oh, okay.
And if you look at the way Caesars operated in New York, the first couple of weeks, it was Caesars. And that was the advertising blitz. Mm-hmm. Then you had... sort of about the third or fourth week in January, moving into February, Caesars started dropping a little bit. Mm-hmm. The handle started going down. Then you see FanDuel and DraftKings starting to go up. And now, at the end of February, we do not even have Caesars as one of the top two.
Wow, interesting.
It's FanDuel, DraftKings, then Caesars. And it's kind of interesting that towards the end of February, when Caesars did their earnings call, mm-hmm. The CEO, Tom Reeg, said that they will not be advertising as much.
Well, yeah, I didn't think they could keep that up because, I mean, living in the New Jersey, New York area, I mean, they were everywhere. Everywhere. I mean, every hour you saw a television commercial, you go outside, you see billboards. I saw a bus with
The bus wraps,
Caesars, the bus wraps. I mean, it was just incredible. So, yeah, I didn't think they could keep it up, but they had one hell of an ad campaign, though.
Well, I think Caesars is an example. You know how I just said FanDuel was an example of first to market doesn't necessarily mean first in market.
Mm-hmm.
I think Caesars is an example of a brand that may need the extra advertising push to keep it where it is.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, if you look at the numbers, Caesars went from 38% the third week in February market share to 19%.
Wow, interesting.
So, it's dropping. And
I have to take a look at FanDuel. They must have some really great promos to have them jump out like that.
I think it's all name recognition if you think about it, because there's a lot being said for the Caesars offer when it first came out. They dropped that offer. I think the offer may have been a little too over the top, but it got them to number one. Right?
Hey, it worked for them. So
it again, we'll keep an eye on that. But again, Caesars dropped from first to third over the course of 50 days, basically.
Yeah.
And, we'll just have to keep an eye on how they're progressing. Let's talk some launches here. Lakeside Hotel and Casino in Osceola, Iowa.
Oh, okay.
They have launched the first retail DRF sportsbook.
Okay. What's that mean?
Daily racing form.
Oh, okay. That's right. Okay.
They have DRF Bets, which
All
is
right.
their online sports book. They now have a retail book in Iowa. That's I guess that's technically their second book if you want to count the online launch in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
So they have
I got to check out where Daily Racing Form Sportsbook. Well, I guess they're calling it DRF. So
DRFbets.com.
Yeah, I want to check what states they're in.
It's actually very, very interesting sports book the way it's set up because it's an offshoot of their DRF Sports website.
Okay.
And the DRF Sports website, you want to see some information, take a look at that website.
All right.
That is a good website.
All right, I'll check out DRF Sportsbook.
Over in New York, we just talked about their numbers. The 8th of the 9 online sports books launched.
Okay.
In New York.
All right.
Resorts World Bet.
All right.
They're partnered with PointsBet for the platform.
Oh, okay, good. I like points.
So Resorts World Bet.
So who's the last one yet to launch?
Ballybet.
Ballybet is yet.
They
to
will
launch.
be launching in the next couple of months. No real hard deadline on when they're going to be launching, but again, it'll be sort of kind of interesting to see exactly what Ballybet does in the market, because a lot of the other books are actually starting to gain a little bit market share, and I don't know whether that's because of what we just talked about with Caesar slipping. Mm-hmm. Rush Street's still a solid 4 in the state.
All right.
So we'll see exactly what kind of damage Resorts World Bet does in the marketplace. Talking about some other licensing, Kindred, which is Unibet.
Okay. I like Unibet. Unibet, I love Unibet because I love the way it's set out. You go to a Unibet Sportsbook online, and everything's right there for you. It's great. It's no, boxes and things and special offers and this and that and the other thing. You got the game, and you got the numbers laid out in front of you. I love the way it's laid out.
And also during the games,
very simple.
On some of the sports, during the games that are going on, if you click on the game, you get a graphical representation of the field.
Oh, okay.
Which actually shows ball movement and some other data points.
Perfectly on. I have no idea if they have that.
I've actually done that.
I bet on them, and I left and watched the game. So,
well, Kindred has obtained 9 of the 10 available limited event wagering operator licenses in Arizona.
Okay.
They're in partnership with the horse racetrack Turf Paradise. They're going to be opening retail books at Turf Paradise, Brookside 2, Charlie Sports Grill, Gallagher 16th, Gallagher's Baseline, Harold's, R.T. O'Sullivan, Boston's Bar and Midtown Tavern.
Okay.
So they're going to have 9 retail books throughout Arizona. I don't know if they're doing the Unibet brand. I would assume it's Unibet since that's their sports book.
Mm-hmm.
So we may see 9 more Unibet sports books coming into fruition here, or whatever you want to phrase it as in terms of launching sports books. You have over in the responsible gambling area, Entain Foundation. The Entain Foundation U.S. launched the second edition of its free Gamble Responsibly America app.
Okay.
It's March is Responsible Gambling Month.
Yes.
So it's one of those apps that it's free.
Okay.
And it will provide you with resources to help deal with problem gambling.
Good.
And they've actually added features in English, Spanish, Cantonese, and Mandarin Chinese.
Wow. Okay.
So they're expanding their reach.
That's great. No, they do good work. So good for them.
And you know, as the sports betting increases across the United States, expands, more of these apps like the Entain Foundation. The Entain Foundation app is great.
Yeah, no, it's great. They're doing great work, and it's certainly a welcome addition to the responsible gambling initiatives in this country. It's great.
And FanDuel has launched a new responsible gambling initiative. They're going to have TV spots with Craig Carton.
Oh, great.
As well as some other tools that are going to be added onto the website.
Good.
In terms of legislation, just a couple things to hit here before we get out for the weekend. Let's see. We have Senator Joe Addabbo.
Yes, he was on the show, last year before everything started with New York. I think he's one of the pioneers of New York mobile gaming, so good for Joe Addabbo.
He's already moving ahead to try and expand the gambling market
in
New York State. He's filed a online casino bill.
Great.
To expand to online casinos. Assemblyman Pretlow, at the end of the week here, actually introduced a bill to, I don't want to say expand, but do another round of licensing for more sports books.
Great.
And also there's something in the bill, and I have to take a look at the language a little bit more, and we can talk about this next week, where the 51% tax rate may go down.
Interesting.
As the years go on.
Let me tell you, I think it's great that New York will try for online casinos, because one of the things when you log in New Jersey anyway with the online sports books, they always have an online casino component to them, and it's a lot of them in New Jersey have a shared wallet, so I think it's great.
Well, we'll see exactly where that goes. I mean, New York is always looking at expanding their market.
Great. Yeah,
I'm waiting to see what happens with the New York City casinos. The Manhattan casinos.
I think there are 3 licenses available in the New York metropolitan area. I think even New Jersey is now talking about a casino in the Meadowlands. So a lot of gambling expansion in the area.
A couple deaths of bills to report
Okay,
on.
all right.
South Dakota lawmakers killed the statewide mobile sports betting ballot measure proposal. Betting will remain restricted to Deadwood and tribal casinos. Mississippi killed all measures to legalize mobile sports wagering in the state.
All right.
Right now, only 2 of the 26 casinos in Mississippi allow on-site mobile sports wagering. Both are MGM properties.
Okay.
So I guess you can say BetMGM has a little monopoly on mobile betting in the state.
Looks like it.
Virginia lawmakers formally killed a bill to permit betting on in-state college sports.
Okay.
So there will be no in-state college betting on in-state college sports teams.
Yeah, New Jersey has that.
Yes.
I mean, we can't bet on colleges or universities that are located within our state borders, and we can't even if a non-New Jersey college or university is playing an academic, or not academic, but a collegiate event in the state, we can't bet on that collegiate event in the state. So,
and last topic for today is the DraftKings being fined $150,000 by the New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement for proxy betting.
Okay, yeah.
They had a bettor in Florida reportedly placing bets by having someone else go in New Jersey, go into his account, place the bets for him.
Yes.
And what happened was...
That is illegal.
This was happening over a couple of months.
Okay.
And what was going on was there was an indication from this account somebody was logging in Florida and then logging out.
Okay.
And then immediately after, there was a login of the same account in New Jersey.
Okay,
and bets being placed.
Yeah.
And this was a big bettor.
Okay.
So a VIP bettor, whatever you want to call them. And it was reported to the New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement, and a fine was issued for $150,000. DraftKings acknowledged it. They're going to start working on measures to not allow this in the future. So the system worked there.
Absolutely. Don't even try it. I mean, geolocation is so great nowadays, and the technology is so fantastic that I don't even know why people would even try betting out of state or try and get someone to bet in state, especially after you've logged in a different state, and then the same account logs in, 1,000 miles away from where it was first logged in.
Yeah,
they know where you're logging in from.
It
so
doesn't
don't
even
try it.
It doesn't even have to be 1,000 miles away. You're going to have that issue with.
Don't even try it.
Look at Louisiana. You could be in another parish.
Yeah,
and have that situation. I mean, you could be actually in your car driving from one parish to the next. If the one parish doesn't allow sports betting, you log in that parish, and then you log in again in the next parish as you're driving.
Yeah, I mean,
think about that. That's going to be an instance
don't even
where you're going to
try that.
That's a special instance.
The technology is so great nowadays. Don't even try it.
Don't try and climb the fence.
Don't even try it. Yep.
Well, that's it for this week's Turnpike Sports Book Report. Please keep those press releases and news stories coming in, info@turnpikesportsradio.com. If you've been following along on the television side, we've had more stories on the news ticker scrolling along the bottom of the screen, and also you will see a print version which has even more stories on our Turnpike Sports blog. Just go to turnpikesportsradio.com, click on the blog button, and you will see a print version of the weekly Turnpike Sports Book Report up there, probably about an hour or so after the book report issues.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.